What's going on, boys? Nogates here. Welcome back to another video. Now, this is the updated tactics and instructions for the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation. Now, obviously, I released this video in October. If you want to watch this, it's still on my channel, still available. Just explain how the 4-1-2-1-2 works, but it's just the updated version of custom tactics because, of course, the game has changed from when the first game came out to obviously now the meta has changed, tactics have changed. Patches have come out, so the way people play and the way the formation work has changed as well. So let's go straight into the tactics instructions. Again, if you want to refer back to that video, you can. And this is for the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation. This is the narrow variation, so do bear that in mind. Let's go straight into tactics and instructions. I'm going to explain to you everything as usual, and I'll go through each thing incrementally. I'll explain it to you. So, defensive style. Whereas before I was suggesting pressure on heavy touch, and I would say completely avoid it now, especially with the stamina nerf. You're losing stamina 3 times quicker than normal if you're using any of the offensive styles. I'll just say if you want to use this formation for most of the game as attacking formation, you're better off just using balanced. If you are going behind, you can quickly flick pressure on every touch on, but I think you can always use team press. Leave it on balance because you don't want to lose stamina, because number one, it's an attacking formation, but number two, don't forget, the 4-1-2-2 second variation is formation people are attacking most of the time. So you don't want to keep losing the ball attacking, and you're going to have no stamina to go forward in the end. I'll explain that in a second as well later on. For the width, we've reduced this to 4. The reason why is the 4-1-2-2 second variation is quite a narrow formation in the middle. The central column is quite narrow. The only thing that's potentially wide, I suppose you can say, is the left back and right back. Now, the reason why we've actually reduced this and we've changed it up is because what I realize is people are still spamming through balls in behind. When you lose the ball in this formation, there is a big and a very high chance your opponent could play a through ball down the wing. So what we've done is we put the width to 4, that way you're not too wide apart. And also I think with all these 3 centre mids, I think you want them to be together, defend the central areas. And naturally speaking, they've kind of adopted this formation to have more of a wider approach. You might have seen in the 4-2-3-1, they've nerfed the CDMs this year. They've almost nerfed the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation and that variation. You would know what I mean if you played a 4-2-3-1. But that's of course your defensive width. This only when you're defending, so you're quite narrow and you're quite compact. For the depth, left us on 5, because don't forget it's still an attacking formation at the end of the day. You want to win the ball back higher up the pitch. You don't want to be stuck in your own half. And especially with this formation, you don't have the numerical advantage, especially on the wing areas. The only weak point of this formation. So you don't want to be so far back where your opponent's just holding the ball outside the box and kind of pinning you down. So at least you want to win the ball back as high as possible. And obviously when you go forward, you want to go forward quickly. Now going over to the defensive style, there's 2 you can use. I would suggest either long ball or fast build up play. Now long ball is what I mentioned from last time. Long ball just means getting behind. And in a 4-1-2-1-2, for example, players like the left centre mid, they don't have instructions like the strikers do to, for example, get in behind. So as you can see, like Ronaldo, I can put him to get in behind. But the left centre mid and the right centre mid, they don't have these instructions. So long ball just means get forward. So when you get the ball, your opponents, or your player should I say, will be running forward and breaking down your opponent's space. You can use fast build up play. I would say try both. See which one you prefer. Those that prefer to play attacking but very, very quick will like fast build up play. But I would recommend long ball. Again, I would say try either of them. I've tested them both out. They both work in different capacities. It just purely depends on your playstyle. For the attacking width, we left this on 5. Now, originally I had this around 7, but I think sometimes your opponent, I suppose you can say your opponents are too far away. But most importantly, the game has changed now. A lot of players now are playing very compact, parking the bus, 1 depth, 1 width. You probably know what I'm talking about. Having the players as wide as possible does seem logical, but the best way to get past those players is down the middle. If you're going to be using the wing areas, you're better off just changing to another formation, because the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation doesn't have wingers. So you're kind of stuck in that kind of realm when you got your opponent parking the bus. So the best thing to do is be narrow, go down a central pitch, and don't forget 5 width, the left centre mid and right centre are still pretty much far apart, but they're not so close where they're basically restricting your movement, but they're not so far away where it's like a 4-1-2-1-2 second variation. So I recommend the width on 5 for offensive width. And for the players in the box, we moved this to 7, just because obviously when you get the ball into a position like with your right centre mid, your left centre mid down the wing, of course when you get into these key areas down the wing, you want to be crossing the ball in or passing the ball inside the box, distributing the ball around the area so you can do the bridge, step over, whatever you like doing inside the box, or the fake shot as I prefer to use to get past your opponent. Corners and free kicks, you can leave this on however you want. It's completely up to you. Obviously do bear in mind the higher you have this, the more susceptible you are going to be to the counter attack. Now moving into the instructions, now you'll see me playing this on Twitch. If you haven't followed me on Twitch, twitch.tv/NoGuys, I stream of course nearly every day in every Foot Champions. Link is down below in the description. The left back and right back before one overlap. Now we've actually removed that system because that system is not feasible. If you're going to use your left back and right back to go forward, just use the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2. It's no point for that. So both for both the strikers, them on stay central because you don't want them to move anywhere. You want your two strikers to be in front, always occupying your two opponent centre backs. One of the strikers, you have them on stay forward and the other one on comeback and offence. Now you can switch these around. So if for example you have Ben Yedder or someone like Neymar who hasn't got the best stamina, you can switch these around. Now why am I saying comeback and offence is that when you're losing the ball, should I say, when you do win the, let's say your opponent has the ball, he comes into your half, when you do have the ball back, when you win the ball back, you want to have Ronaldo basically in between Neymar and Eto'o, or the cam and the striker. That way you got that quick link up play, you can play those quick 1-2s. Otherwise you'll have basically two strikers isolated, the cam almost too far away, and sometimes you can't get the ball from your CDM to your cam to your striker in just 2 passes. So that kind of enables that ability for that player to come back and support you in a build-up play. So you've got to stay forward and come back on the fence. And for the cam, what we have come back on the fence and get into the box. Now we did put this on stay forward, but the way people are playing now, because people are playing drop back very much, and so many players always behind the ball, you're not going to have a 3v2 situation anymore. Before in the game came out, people struggle with attacks, had many players on join the attack. Now every single player's got 2 CDMs, or at least they're back 4 and stay back while attacking. So although it does make sense to have this player on comeback and offense, so stay forward, I would say leave it on either balanced or comeback and offense. Make sure you do have them to get inside the box. That way when you do get into these wing type situations, and let's say your left mid has the ball, your cam comes inside the box almost relatively unmarked, because don't forget most of the time your your opponent's 2 centre backs are marking your 2 strikers, and that cam player almost is free most of the time. Do not use free roam though. People think this is actually works. It doesn't work. Free roam just means that this guy will leave his position and sometimes go to the wing. This guy is an important player of the team. You want that cam to be the link-up player, because if you can't go forward with your strikers, you need to distribute the ball back to your centre mids or your cam and recycle the ball. You can't always just go forward every single time, especially when someone's parking a bus. So make sure this is unbalanced. Now for the CDM, we have cut passing lane, stay back while attacking, and cover centre. Now in this formation, I have Cuadrado in that role, and that leaves us with, I suppose you can say, 2 left centre mid and right centre mid, 2 dynamic centre mids. I'll get on to them in a second. In this play, you want someone like Kante, someone like Allen, someone like Blanc, someone like, a very defensive-minded player, someone like the Marquinhos, SBC, Sissoko. You want your defensive player in this role over here. I'd recommend cut passing lane, stay back while attacking, and cover centre. Don't forget, most of the time, most people have 2 CDMs. If you have 1 CDM, you can't have this player on balanced. So you need to have him on stay back while attacking. At least that way when you get counter attacked, you can have that stability, you can have that safety net, and you can have 1 guy back without bringing out your back 4. Then your left centre mid and your right centre mid. Now, in the beginning, I'd recommend both of them being on cover centre and stay back while attacking. Now, once you play this formation, play it a 1 or 2 games. See how you find it. Now, obviously, I'm making this formation for all of you guys. Some of you guys might be Gold 3 players. Some of you guys might be Elite 3 players. The Elite 3 can get away with leaving both of these guys on balanced or get forward. But if you know you're a Gold 3 player, start these both on stay back while attacking. Then what you can do later on is, after you've decided, you know what, maybe this is too defensive, I'd recommend putting the most attacking centre mid, or I play a winger in my left centre mid position, on balanced or get forward. That way, when you do go forward, you have at least 2 guys back. And that way you can adapt it to your playstyle. Because don't forget, when I make a formation, I try to make it for every single person. But in this system, I'd say use both the left centre mid and the right centre mid on stay back while attacking. Test the waters. See how it is a couple of games. Then come back to this video and kind of think, okay, maybe I was struggling with defending, leave them on stay back. Maybe it wasn't attacking enough, you can put 1 on join the attack, or get forward, should I say. Let's say you're very comfortable, you know you're a Gold 1 elite player and you're comfortable defending, then put them both on get forward, or both of them on balanced. That's what I'd say. I'd recommend high or high medium work rates for these 2 roles. Now, for both the centre back, stay back, I set on default. Goalkeeper, of course, is balanced. Left back and a right back is stay back while attacking, conservative sections, and overlap. This means that when you do have the ball, these guys are not... Overlap just means that when they do run forward, they go on the outside, not the inside. Now, they don't go forward. Overlap just means if you do a 1-2, then this player will make a run on the outside. That's key because you have so many players in the middle column. Basically, the wing areas are basically excluded. So if you want, you can do 1-2 with your left back and right backs to bring them forward. 7 interceptions so you don't get counter-attacked because, of course, you got no wingers in this formation. So there is a big chance you could concede. Now, what I'd recommend is if you use this formation, I would say always change to something like a 4-2-3-1 when you are winning. Why do I suggest that? It's because a 4-2-3-1 naturally has a lamb and a ram. So when they come back in defense, it's very good to defend against the 4-4-2. When you use the 4-1-2-1-2 second variation, it's an attacking formation. You need to have a defensive mindset when you do use it. So if you know you're winning 2-0 or you know you're winning 1-0, it's 80 minutes. I would recommend changing to a 4-2-3-1 and that way you can lock the game out. We have all three centre mids on stay back well, if you put them on stay back while attacking, they're all on cover centre. They basically, the way the defensive width works, remember I said to you the defensive width, remember I said to you it's on 4. These left centre mid, right centre mid, they're not actual centre mids. They're kind of like just a bit on the right hand side, a bit on the left. So you can always manually select these players and defend the wing areas if you do need to. So do bear that in mind. Don't forget with your cam on comeback and defense, you can always use your cam to split your position up as well. But that is just the updated 4-1-2-1-2 second variation tactics. As I said, do give it a try. Experiment yourself. See what you prefer. Come back to this video and I said the 3 things you can change is leave them all on stay back while attacking. Then of course alter left centre mid and right centre mid. If you find it too defensive, of course leave it. If you find it too defensive, make them attacking. If you find it too attacking, you make them defensive. And the second thing I'd say is you can play around with fast build up play and long ball. See which one you prefer. For those that like playing fast quick football, they might prefer fast build up play. For those that are more progressive but still want to be very attacking and want players going in front, you still prefer long ball. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget I do stream on twitch.tv/NilGuys and of course my Patreon links and all of my social links also down below in the description. Thanks for watching boys. Take it easy and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.